Welcome back to Last of Us. We're getting into real gameplay now rather than just tutorial stuff.
Well, as soon as we walk through this dubious civilian marketplace place,
Yeah.
Corbin
she
Dallas
just bribed it.
Multipass.
She just bribed a kid. Here, buy your family a loaf, kid. Just check out the area, make sure there's no military floating around.
Make sure the bread's not teleported.
Wait, people are still cooking bread? Like, do they have farms in the post-apocalypse where they can
Well,
grow
I,
the
I'm assume,
wheat?
I assume they have some amount of farming.
They have to have some, but as they touched on when they passed the ration station on their way out of their house, there's a shortage right now.
Take a look at those dogs, folks.
Sold out in less than an hour. Try me next week.
I think it's like one of the only times we see dogs in this game.
Oh, I love dogs.
You touch it, you buy it.
This area's got
Then,
a lot
and
of
then Joel
stuff
just
to
touches
see.
him.
That's racist.
This area's got a lot of stuff to see. There's a fight club going on over there, all kinds of stuff on the shelves. Hey, you gotta get up in my face.
Didn't realize you two were together. Go ahead.
I don't think I'd be walking straight through here if I wasn't allowed. Shit.
Who's that?
I kind of wish Joel was the type of person that would display some phony machismo when Tess is around him. Like he overcompensates for trying to be badass.
Nah, he just sort of exists, man. It's like, he survived the apocalypse, but he lost his daughter. What's he here for? Oh, he's alive, he might as well keep living. That's about it.
And this guy is our protagonist.
Yeah, a lot of people complain about Joel, though, but he's actually pretty damn realistic as far as how he acts in this situation.
I think it's because we're crossing a line between having a character that is relatable, but at the same time it's also a video game. You know, when you play, in my case in particularly, when I'm playing a video game, I like my protagonist to be someone that I can like and also gets the job done in a way that makes me root for the guy. Now Joel has those moments in this game, obviously, but
Yeah.
as we'll get along in the commentary, he does things that I'm just not rooting for him for, and that was probably the point, no doubt.
Yeah.
But you know,
Well,
it's
it's like-
a perception of taste, and I'll jump the gun. Joel's not one of my favorite protagonists ever in a video game I ever played.
Well, I
yeah,
think it
it's
makes
just-
sense, especially in a video game, because, like, if you're playing a video game, you control that character, so you kind of are them. So you kind of, you want them to act in a certain way more than if you're watching a movie where the protagonist of a movie can be a total dick, and it's less of an issue there because you aren't that person. You aren't the total dick. Or maybe you are, but you don't need to believe that you are. If that makes sense. Oh,
Well,
why did we shoot
here's-
that person?
Because they're working for the guy we're here to get our stuff back from, and they're being an ass. But what I was gonna say is just like, you can tell pretty much going straight in that this is not going to be one of those games where characters are portrayed in, I don't want to say unrealistic ways, but, you know,
He's not the paradigm of
glorified
goodness.
ways, right? Yeah, I mean, just like not even just the paragon of goodness, but you know how in a lot of games, when a character is a dick, they're probably a dick in the sense that Dante is a dick, where it's played up for amusement and or cool factor, or in DMC's case, the same kind of cool factor that a middle schooler believes in. Either way, where it's supposed to be fun rather than, you know, realistic or grim or whatever they were going for with this.
Well, that's why I appreciate this, because they actually did it well. Because I'm not saying they're the first to try it, it's just more so that either the writing wasn't good enough, the story itself wasn't good enough, but this has the combination needed to actually do it well.
Yeah, and you
So
know, I get that some people that don't exactly necessarily want that kind of thing, but
No,
at
if
the
it's
same
not if it's not
time-
your thing, it's not your thing.
at the same time, from the tone going into the game, it's pretty obvious what you're getting into. So
Yeah.
And I, to the game's credit, it did keep me engaged with how they integrated story and gameplay sequences. You know, it's like nothing is as bad as it ever will be in like Metal Gear Solid 4, where you're watching 15 minutes of cutscenes and then you're going through 3 minutes of gameplay.
Well, in this game, when
I
story
appreciate
and dialogue is happening, you're usually also moving around at the same time.
Yeah.
Are you
Well,
just
that's not
gonna
really
let Tess
gameplay.
handle you guys?
That's just walking around while waiting for.
Well, no, because you're also
Yeah.
exploring. You're picking up health. You're picking up materials. You're picking
Yeah.
up artifacts.
Well, that's about
You-
as much
you're-
gameplay as walking down a route with no trainers in Pokemon is. It's not really. You're not doing an awful lot of engaging things.
Well,
I
you're
would say.
exploring at the same time, at least the first time you're doing it. But it never feels quite as railroaded later on in the game as it does during the tutorial areas. Because there isn't really a whole lot to do in the tutorial areas. There are a few items scattered about, but at the same time, there's not really much to look for either.
Yeah, what we'll find out a bit later is that this is Boston, so we need to still find Ted.
Lucky
Check
for
every
you,
closet.
you happened to be, you happened to live in one of the places that was suitably uninfected for a gated community.
Or you could be
Yeah.
that absolutely perfect neighborhood in World of Worlds that somehow didn't get affected at all by the aliens.
Which
Yeah,
version?
how's Antarctica doing in a time like this?
Oh no, they're dealing with the thing, and
Yeah.
Well, I think it would be too cold for fungus monsters to really live.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Like, how are the people in Antarctica doing?
you mean the few scientific bases?
Yes. Have they begun to procreate and establish an Antarctica base?
Yeah.
It's really cold.
In any event, this is a pretty big area with nothing in it.
Yeah. Now, just so everyone is aware, in case you're playing along or whatever, I am playing on New Game Plus Easy just to keep things moving.
Yeah, for the sake of
Wimp.
just
No,
getting it.
I've beaten it on harder difficulties. It's just for the interest of keeping things moving for the playthrough.
Sure,
Yeah.
you did.
Like those of us watching this on who like kept an eye on the Raw's channel while we were still using it. This was recorded way back when the game was first released, so it's also, I think, probably just a matter of not having as much time to practice at the game too.
Well, I did a full
Yeah.
playthrough before recording this, obviously,
Mhm.
but again, it's just
Yeah.
it's a very stealth-heavy, very time-consuming area of the game.
hmm
So it's just, okay, you don't want to see me die to 30 clickers in a row. You don't want to see me slowly and meticulously take out 10 guys versus 5.
Yeah,
I don't
but
want to see you survive against a clicker either.
there are some stealth sequences that last quite a while,
Yeah, so-
even when you can get the proper setup.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of keeping things moving.
Yeah. Well, let me put it this way. You know how in Metal Gear Solid 3 you're always on your belly? In the stealth sections of this game, you're always crouch walking.
Yeah. Okay, now you.
I'll say this, as much as I like the stealth and the gunplay in this game, I could do with some better fist fighting.
Well, at least we get, bats and stuff soon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you really should
as
be
if-
using foreign objects.
It's just when you're up at melee, you're basically flailing at things. And
Hoping you connect.
I don't mind that so much, but I'll take the amp from Infamous any day.
Yeah, just give me a crowbar, that's all I need. Or a shiv, what Ryan just grabbed right there.
Shivs are actually one of the most useful items in the game, and probably something you're going to craft a lot more than you find, because they
Your only
let
defense
you-
against clickers.
Yeah, they let you get stealth insta kills if you use them. They're expendable though. They're the only way that you can insta kill a clicker.
Whoa, Joel
or
had quite the nosebleed.
And
they also unlock secret doors that basically reward you with a lot of stuff.
yeah, and you'll want to get those if you're going for trophy achievements too, because they basically
Or if you just
gut guns.
or just to upgrade your stuff anyway, because they'll often give you a whole lot of parts
Yeah.
or
I often
Yeah.
held on to shivs for as long as I could, because if I'm
Yeah.
going against a regular, like a runner, I'm going behind them and strangling them to death. If it's a clicker, I'm avoiding them entirely. So, I was
Oh,
trying my
jeez.
best to hold on to shivs for doors.
When I went up against the clickers, I actually went to the trouble of killing every one of them because I just.
It depends on the area.
Mm-hmm.
Joel
But we're not going to be seeing clickers or any more infected for quite a while because we've got humans to fight. The humans are, predictably, the hardest enemies to deal with in the game because they can see a lot farther and they have guns and they actually fight you with tactics or at least passing imitations of them.
Depending on your difficulty.
Yeah. Well, if you're on an easier mode, you've got more ammo so you can just shoot.
Yeah.
But, in
By
the
the way,
harder modes...
By the way, that's a silent takedown.
Mhm.
Silent.
I'm Batman.
If you're caught
No,
in
but
a
you could be
silent-
doing that right next to somebody else and they won't hear it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've got the sound on mute, so I didn't really hear it. Is there like a big pump?
No, it's more like you can hear the guy openly,
Like
gargle. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's silent.
To be fair, listening from Joel's perspective, you'd hear that a lot more clearly than the people around them, but still.
Not when you're standing right next to them, though.
Bricks and bottles. There is always going to be another brick or another bottle, no matter
I
where you
like
are.
bricks better than bottles.
Yeah, bricks are definitely... they have more punch than bottles, and they do the same thing, basically. But, basically, you can use them as melee weapons that break after a couple hits. You can also throw them to create distractions, which is imperative for getting past clickers.
especially on harder difficulties.
Basically, bricks are your best friend. But as
Would you
can
say
tell,
that they're the building blocks of melee combat? Eh?
Yeah, actually.
3 parts in.
You are
3
definitely better off. You are definitely better off fighting with a brick than with your fists. In fact, I think if you have a brick, you can actually kill a clicker by the time you've used up the whole brick's durability.
You can't. Yeah, you can't
Wait,
use a
did
brick
he just
to
put a brick in his back pocket?
Yes.
I
He
think
just
it's
put
Hammer
a
space.
brick in his
actually.
back pocket. The hell? Yeah,
In
that's
his
something
back
that you can
pocket,
just stuff down your ass. A brick.
In
Do
his
you
back
often?
pack. In his. Oh,
Do you-
wait, is
do
it
you
in his
often
back pocket?
use-
No, that was.
Well, no, it's whatever. Well, he has like magnetic clicks for everything that he puts on his back. You can see the wooden stick is just clinging on to nothing on his back.
Do you guys
Yeah.
have you guys read DM of the Rings?
Yeah.
Okay, well, one of my favorite comics from that is the one where they're leaving one of the towns, and it's like, oh, it's a good thing I grabbed all of the stuff from the armory. Really now? Yeah, well, I have a maximum load of 100 pounds, so I only took 99 pounds of stuff. And where did you put it? You know, in my backpack. Your backpack. Yes. The one that doesn't appear in your character portrait. Uh-huh. The one that doesn't ever impede you when walking through a door. Uh-huh. The one where everything you need is conveniently right on top.
He's running.
That's not a backpack. That's an interdimensional invisible TARDIS.
As far as like D&D and game stuff, though, I'm just like, okay, it's game logic, whatever.
It's game logic, but still, that's just one of my...
It's game logic that gets more jarring the more realistic a game tries to be.
Yeah, like this game and actually the new Tomb Raider did the same thing too. They tried to look like they were realistically storing everything, but no, they're not.
I can hold
It's
99
sort
more
of-
Ultra Balls, but one more berry is just too much.
No hard feelings, right?
None at all.
Oh, you done fucked up now.
My knee benders.
We missed you.
This is a pretty ruthless scene on the part of the
Whatever you
protagonists.
heard, it ain't true, okay? I just want to
The
say.
guns.
Hey man, he deserved it. He... what did he do?
he took our guns.
Oh, he took our guns.
It's complicated.
Yeah, which is the stuff we're selling for food, basically.
Hear me out on
Yeah.
this. I got
Joel justifies everything that they do by telling himself that they're survivors and they're doing what they need to live. Tess isn't quite as shameless about it.
I sold him.
Excuse me.
I didn't have much of a choice. I owed someone.
You owed us. I'd say you bet on the wrong horse.
Oh shit.
I just need more time. Give me a week.
You know, I might have done that if you hadn't tried to fucking kill me.
Come on, it won't
Who
last.
has
Yeah,
your
that's a good
guns?
point. That is a fair point. Why did you try to fucking kill the girl? They're the protagonists.
Yeah,
You had to know they'd survive and come back to get you.
How are you supposed to know they're the protagonists, though?
It's just the fault of being the first boss.
Yeah.
It's the Fireflies.
But other people will learn from Robert's example.
What?
They're basically all dead. We could just go in there, finish them off.
I will say that this is one of those scenes where the realism and how they act does tend to get under your skin a little.
Let's go get them.
Well, the acting in general is actually really good.
That is
Yeah.
The acting is really good, and that's what makes it believable.
Well, it's also because the voice actors are also the mocap actors.
Now what?
And I think that's something a lot of games should start doing
I
nowadays.
don't know.
Well,
Well,
You know,
it's, not
'cause,
like, it's not like Troy Baker has any lack of experience in acting
Let's go find a fire.
at all.
Well,
Well,
here's
yeah.
the-
Well,
here-
I would say having experience helps too.
here's the thing about good voice actors, though. A lot of them do act out while they're acting. Mark Hamill is the Joker, for example. He does a lot of grandiose stuff while he's doing the Joker's voice, and sometimes they take that stuff and throw it into the animation.
Yes.
Hmm
Wasn't let me see here, because I know L.A. Noire had facial mocap and real life mocap too. For that meant they had to shoot the scene 2 different times. So I can't imagine how much of a pain in the ass that was.
Well, they did that so that you could do the lie truth, whatever the third one was.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, I understand what it was doing. I'm just talking about the editing process of combining those 2 elements together. I couldn't imagine how long that would have taken, a big team or not. But like Resident Evil 5, wasn't like say like Roger Craig Smith. He only did the mocap for Chris, and that someone else did the body movements. Or am I mistaken?
How do we know you got him?
Yeah, I mean, there was always a lot of one person does the mocap like a trained acrobat or whatever,
Yeah.
and then the voice actor would just do the voice, and sometimes that would lead to a weird disconnect for me.
I gotta move.
Well,
Here,
definitely-
here it works for the benefit because basically the voice matches the way they move because it's the same actor.
Yes.
Well, as long as I think that can really only work in a game like this where you have real people and not people who are doing like flips.
Well, I mean,
and
yeah, obviously different for like Metal Gear Solid or Vengeance or something, but
Yeah.
Unless they can jump 50 feet into the air, then.
Well, if they
Comedy
could do that,
sequence.
then what the hell are they doing voice acting?
Times are hard, man.
I'm sure Quentin Flynn could pull it off.
Yeah, that Ultra move he does to Travis at the end of No More Heroes, all him.